was a spectacular year of racing as the 39th UIM F1H2O World Championship saw the world's most talented and fearless marine motorsport racers lock horns for the most prestigious title in powerboat racing. It was a year of glory and heartbreak as veterans of the sport were toppled, young blood made waves, and underdogs rose to the top. The 2023 season visited some of the most stunning locations in the world. Round 1 kicked off at the inaugural GP of Indonesia on Lake Toba, racing on the world's largest volcanic lake. The next round visited the birthplace of Kung Fu in Zhengzhou, China, Grand Prix of Zhengzhou. The fleet then headed back to Europe, returning to Macon, France for the second time at the Grand Prix of France. Round 4 returned to the beautiful Italian island of Sardinia in Olbia with the Regione Sardegna Grand Prix of Italy. The championship was capped off in style with the traditional season finale Road to Sharjah Grand Prix of Sharjah in the United Arab Emirates. Now let's go back to where it all started on Lake Toba in Indonesia. The 2023 season of the UIM F1H2O World Championship fires into life with the Kopiko Grand Prix of Indonesia. The race would take place on Lake Toba in northern Sumatra. The lake sits in the ancient caldera of a supermassive volcano that exploded 70,000 years ago in a climate-changing event. The series is visiting Indonesia for the first time. Even the president of Indonesia, Joko Widodo, attended the event and handed out the winner's trophy. A few of the brave were able to get a taste for the thrill of an F1H2O boat by taking a ride in the custom two-seater version. This year's championship has attracted 10 teams and 20 drivers from all over the world. The man to beat, three-time defending world champion Sean Torrente of Team Abu Dhabi, which also won the team championship in 2022.
Our goal, as always, is to win the first race and let's start out in front, which we've done for the last 4 years. You know, the bigger goal is obviously to get my fourth championship, to continue the unbelievable run that Abu Dhabi has been on.
Torrente's veteran teammate Emirati Dani Al-Kamzi also had a shot at the championship, but will have to go at it again this season. Team Sweden's Jonas Andersson doesn't have the might and resource of Team Abu Dhabi, but has shown he has the tenacity and craft to beat them. He swept the championship out from under their feet in 2021 and is eager for another title. The big news this year is the return of Victory Team out of Dubai, a team with a long, proud history in marine motorsports. Also back in their number 4 boat is Eric Stark, who had a successful run in F1H2O until 2019 and has seen many podiums. The big surprise was the arrival of Indonesian President Joko Widodo. The leader of the 4th most populous country in the world took his time to meet each and every driver, after which crowds were treated to a traditional local dance before the race kicked off. Bartek Marszalek of Stromoy Racing won his first ever pole position and had the best seat on the starting grid with one of the toughest racers, Sean Torrente, on his heels. Eric Stark was in 3rd, Sami Celio down in 4th, Anderson in 5th, CTIC China Team's Peter Marin, a danger to everyone, in 6th.
Come on!
Thousands gather along the shore to watch the inaugural F1H2O race on Lake Toba. The field roars off the pontoon, but Torrente looks like he may have jump-started. Torrente leads to the commitment buoy, but Marszalek beats him to it and makes it around in the lead. Torrente 2nd, Stark 3rd. Anderson now takes the inside lane on their way to the yellow right-hander. He is neck and neck, but Stark surges ahead just in time and shuts out Anderson, who loses speed and watches the blue boat speed away. Marszalek in the 50th race of his life and first time in the lead, and there's trouble on the course. The yellow flag goes up and the race is paused. Sharjah Team's Ferdinand Zandbergen's boat is swimming upside down. Here it is on the replay, heading into that left-hander. He catches an edge and barrel rolls. By the time the boat is cleared off, there is just one lap left in the race. Torrente is fast and attacks on the outside. The crowds cheer on as Torrente pours on the power. Torrente passes Marszalek and deftly takes that right-hander, sealing the deal. Torrente is in the lead. Torrente crosses the line first, followed by Marszalek in second, Celio third, and Stark in fourth. After reviewing the video footage, the UIM officials determined Torrente had in fact jumped the start, and so Marszalek is number one. What a way to start his 2023 season. Bartek Marszalek accepts the winner's trophy from the president of Indonesia.
It's very, very nice. So it was realized of my dream. We need to push very hard for our goals in our lives. It will come sooner or later, but believe yourself.
UIM F1 H2O World Championship season headed to the Far East and the People's Republic of China as Zhengzhou hosted its first ever Grand Prix, round 2 of the 2023 season. The city of Zhengzhou is a futuristic metropolis. It's also where the ancient martial art of Kung Fu originated. F1 H2O teams had a chance to visit the Shaolin Monastery, the cradle of Shaolin Kung Fu. The city would host the 26th UIM F1 H2O event in China over the last 22 years. Locals had their own team to cheer for, the formidable CTIC China, attracting extra attention at the event. Coming off a fresh win in Indonesia and walking tall was Polish ace Bartek Marszalek of Stromoy Racing, sitting at the top of the championship standings. Trailing 5 points behind Marszalek was Sami Celio of Team Sharjah. All eyes will be on China's CTIC team, who are third in the team championship. Their principal driver, Frenchman Peter Marin, is a tough, hard-charging racer. He is hungry for a first win. The pressure is now on. The course in Zhengzhou is on a lake in the city. The winds can kick up suddenly on the 6-pin course with one yellow right-hander. It has a long, super fast straightaway that will test drivers' ability to keep those boats on the water. Victory Team's Ahmed Al-Fahim got a taste of the dangers with a dramatic flyover in the first practice session. He unfortunately crashed again on the same straightaway in the second practice session. That took him out of the race for the weekend. Race day, thousands gathered along the shores. Starting grid, Anderson with the shortest line to the green buoy, Marin P2, Celio in third, Grant Trask in P6, Bartek Marszalek is in the middle of the pack in 10th. Behind him, Ferdinand Zandbergen, and Eric Stark has his work cut out for him back in 12th. CTIC China Team's Peter Marin has a great start. He blasts off, leaving Celio and Anderson behind. But Anderson's pole position gives him the lead around the left-hander. Marin is pushing hard on the outside, but Anderson maintains the lead. Torrente P3, Celio P4. Coming up on the yellow right-hander, Sean Torrente has the speed on the outside in the battle for second place with Peter Marin. He edges ahead of the Frenchman, stays wide on the left-hander, and surges ahead, locking in second place. Out front, Jonas Anderson has a strong hold on the lead. Torrente is second, and Marin is third, but his radio man Xiap signals trouble. Disappointment for CTIC China as Peter Marin drops out. As the fight between Roms and Stark rages, they go wide on that buoy. Behind them, Ferdinand Zandbergen takes advantage, takes the turn much tighter, and passes both Roms and Stark in one fell swoop. Up to P5 now from P11. Zandbergen is there on the inside again, hugging that turn tight, followed by Roms. Zandbergen passes Celio into third. With just 10 laps to go, Zandbergen is now in third. Philip Roms is chasing on the inside lane, and Celio and Rashid barrel in from the outside. Celio is in trouble. He's falling back and is passed by Stark now. Stark now up in P5. And Marit Stromoy comes in out of nowhere. Sami Celio gets some air, but the port side sponson ripped open. He is out. Meanwhile, Jonas Anderson never let up on his pace and takes a glorious win here in China. Torrente is back in the game, finishing in second, and the comeback of the day is Ferdinand Zandbergen, moving up 8 positions to finish third. What a race for the young Dutchman. Anderson takes 20 points, Stromoy up to P6 from 13. Great inaugural race for Al-Khamzi in 7th.
I'm super happy. I started 11 and I ended third, so I was never expecting that.
In the overall standings, Jonas Andersson leads his fellow countryman Eric Stark by 2 points, Bartek Marszalek in third, and Torrente now up in fourth. The UIM F1 H2O World Championship season headed to Macon, Val de Saône for the third round of the 2023 season, the Grand Prix of France. Macon is an ancient city with a rich heritage influenced by Romans, Celts, and Franks throughout the centuries. The city is hosting the UIM F1 H2O Championship for the second time after last season. Cédric Deguin, the local hero and resident of Macon, leads the Maverick Racing Team, a French group that has actively participated in races since 2015. Deguin, accompanied by his teammate Alexandre Bourgeot, forms a formidable duo within the team. The Grand Prix of France circuit on the Saône River is a tight, fast, and short track with 2 narrow turns on either end and 2 long straightaways. The starting grid is determined with Torrente on pole position, followed by Jonas Andersson in P2, Ferdinand Zandbergen in P3, Alberto Comparato in P4, and Peter Marin and Brent Dillard in P5 and P6 respectively. The 20 drivers from 10 teams head out for the rolling start and wait for the green flag. All eyes are now on the race director, Luis Ribeiro. Torrente takes advantage of his pole position and thunders away with Andersson closely following. Torrente leads the 20-driver field with Jonas Andersson chasing him. Further back, Zandbergen manages to regain the third place at the second turn buoy. With clear waters ahead, Torrente runs smoothly, but he misses a buoy and tries to come back by performing a 360-degree turn and cutting through the course. It's a disaster for him as he drops to fourth place and incurs a penalty. The yellow flag comes out as Cédric Deguin comes to a stop in the middle of the field and needs to be towed back to the paddock. Unfortunately, Celio's race also comes to an end, marking his second consecutive race withdrawal after China. The green flag is raised and Daniel Kamsi makes his way through, passing Comparato and Dillard to secure third place. It's a remarkable race for the UAE driver, climbing from 9th to 3rd place. With the restart, Alberto Comparato finds himself in 8th position, attempting to make gains, but unfortunately a major accident occurs between Comparato and Stromoy. Another yellow flag is waved. Once again, they wait for the green flag. Andersson makes his way cleanly and maintains the top spot, with Zandbergen in second and Marin trying to catch up. Daniel Kamsi holds on to 3rd place. Jonas Andersson maintains his lead with Zandbergen in hot pursuit in 2nd place. Heading into the final laps, the battle intensifies between Stark and Dillard, but Stark manages to hold on to his 5th position. Jonas Andersson crosses the finish line, taking the checkered flag and winning the Grand Prix of France. Zandbergen finishes in 2nd position, with Daniel Kamsi securing 3rd place. It's a moment of glory for Jonas Andersson and his team. Peter Marin in 4th, Eric Stark in 5th, and Brent Dillard of the USA in 6th place.
It's tough race, rough water, but who be smart here, he can win. We hold it until the end. We finish there. Alhamdulillah, I'm happy.
In the Drivers' Championship standings, Jonas Andersson is in the lead with 43 points, followed by his fellow Swede Eric Stark in 28 points. Ferdinand Zandbergen sits in 3rd place with 27 points, while Marszalek is in 4th place with 20 points.
Yeah, I'm really happy. We had a tough start in Saturday. Sean made a mistake and I was lucky to not make, so it was quite an easy race for me.
UIM F1 H2O World Championship returns to the beautiful island of Sardinia, Italy for the Regione Sardegna Grand Prix of Italy. The island of Sardinia is situated on one of the most scenic corners of the Mediterranean Sea, with beautiful seaside towns, rugged mountains, and untouched beaches, where sun, sand, and sea attract people year-round. The championship points leader heading into the weekend was Team Sweden's Jonas Andersson. With 40 points up for grabs in the season, a win here could secure Jonas Andersson a championship. Lacking the deep pockets and big sponsors of other teams, Jonas Andersson's mastery of tuning his own engines sets him apart.
I'm building my own engines and spend a lot of time with it. It's the only thing I more or less do. So for me, it's a fantastic engine. It's very old, but I really love it because you can play around so much with it and try to get more power, and you lose power, and then you find little power, and for me, it's still very nice to work with.
Andersson's nearest challenger is fellow countryman Eric Stark.
Now we're right there, 15 points behind Jonas, so he cannot win this race. I'm planning to do it, and then we'll finish it in Sharjah.
Dutchman Ferdinand Zandbergen has been the Sharjah team's most consistent performer in 2023. He trails Eric Stark by a single point in the Drivers' Championship standings.
We had some challenges, some accidents, and now I feel more confident. I know more where the limit is, and I start to feel better about how to drive this kind of boat, because it's different with Formula 2.
The circuit in Olbia is a super tight track surrounded by a harbor, bridges, breakwaters, and rocks. The BRM qualifying format was adjusted for the course, comprised of 2 qualifying sessions, 2 sprint races, and a repechage to determine the starting grid for the race. And so, after a gauntlet of races, Andersson wins the coveted BRM pole position, getting one step closer to taking the championship, with Italian favorite Comparato in second and Stark in third. The Grand Prix was moments away as crowds gathered and packed the VIP areas to watch the drivers battle it out on the tricky Sardinia circuit. Final starting grid, Andersson on pole, the hard-charging Marin in fourth, Zandbergen in fifth. Andersson has a strong start. Behind him, Comparato is falling back, being overtaken by Eric Stark. Jonas Andersson leads by a boat's length around the first buoy. Eric Stark has moved up to P2, and Alberto Comparato has fallen way back. Peter Marin trying to take advantage coming around the buoy, but Alberto Comparato recovers and attacks on the inside. At the front, Andersson starting to pull away. Stark up to P2, Comparato down to P3. Zandbergen is attacking Marin on the outside for fourth. The young Dutchman pours on the power and zooms ahead, locking in fifth place. Andersson in the lead, Eric Stark in a precarious second place with the likes of Marin and Zandbergen breathing down his neck. Marin pushing hard and loses control. He fishtails around that turn. Zandbergen is right there to take advantage. The young gun from Sharjah team doesn't miss a beat, takes third place for Marin. The 2 boats catch up to Eric Stark in P2. Peter Marin cuts the corner tight and slowly moves past Stark into second place. Zandbergen is on the outside. Eric Stark drops to fourth place with just 2 laps to go. Jonas Andersson enters the final turns, and he's done it! This one-man show has had the perfect weekend, and he wins his second championship. Peter Marin takes the second place podium in dramatic fashion. Ferdinand Zandbergen is third. 3 for 3 podium finishes now. Andersson gets 20 points and locks in his second title. Disappointment for Eric Stark, who lost 3 positions in the penultimate lap.
I take a good start, fight. We were 4 and we finished 2. It's incredible.
Of course, I'm very happy. I'm standing second in the World Championship now. So 1 race to go, so I hope for another podium.
Jonas Andersson is now the 2-time champion, but the fight for second and third place goes down to the last race in Sharjah, with Zandbergen 4 points ahead of Stark in third.
Yes, I win the championship, and I wanted to do it here because I have all my sponsors and friends from home. Fantastic to seal the championship here in Olbia and just go to Sharjah and give maximum to try to win that race, and sure we're gonna try.
The UIM F1H2O World Championship returned to Sharjah for the Road to Sharjah Grand Prix of Sharjah in the United Arab Emirates for a season-ending finale where the 2023 World Champion would be crowned. The event in Sharjah has become the classic season ender and is the perfect backdrop with a race circuit bang in the center of the city on the Khalid Lagoon. Adding to the thrill, this season's climax features the addition of two 15-minute sprint races, ensuring non-stop action on the water that promise to be a visual feast for spectators. Sharjah has hosted the Road to Sharjah UIM F1H2O Grand Prix for 3 decades, and locals and fans turned out to meet the drivers and teams. The Road to Sharjah Grand Prix of Sharjah featured a stacked lineup with 20 drivers from 10 teams. The team's World Championship and the coveted pole position trophy were still up for grabs. And with the crucial second and third places in the Drivers' Championship undecided, the event was a battleground for both team and individual honors. With Jonas Andersson having already clinched the Drivers' Championship, the favorite for second place was Sharjah team's Ferdinand Zandbergen.
We are trying to secure the second place in the championship. Also, we are fighting for the Fast Lap Trophy and the Team Championship, so there's a lot to win or lose in this weekend.
Victory Team's Eric Stark was a strong contender, currently sitting third in the Drivers' Championship standings, just 4 points shy of Zandbergen.
For us, the second place means a lot, especially our first season back after the break. So yeah, we would try to win this race.
His teammate, Ahmed Al-Fahim, had a rough start to his rookie year with a string of spectacular crashes, and his bad luck continued here in the second sprint race. Ahmed Al-Fahim led the field to the commitment buoy ahead of defending champion Sean Torrente. The Emirati left no room for Torrente, who hurtled across the race lines, ramming Philip Roms's rear end in a spectacular crash. Sean Torrente was rushed to the hospital but was fortunately released with no serious injuries. But sadly, he would miss the final race. Ahmed Al-Fahim was dramatically disqualified for dangerous driving and would be unable to race. Race day. Crowds lined the Khalid Lagoon to watch the drama unfold. The field lined up for the final race. The starting grid had a Team Sweden 1-2. Jonas Andersson on pole with his teammate Kalle Vipo in P2. Ferdinand Zandbergen in P3, 2 spots ahead of his main rival Stark in P5. There it is, the lights go out and the race is on. Zandbergen is slow off the dock and drops behind. Peter Marin in the 8th lane, the Frenchman pulls ahead of Thani Al-Khamzi to his port side. Grant Trask comes up around in P2. Kalle Vipo is behind, squeezed in the 2 liters spray. Andersson under huge pressure from Grant Trask, barely a boat's length ahead. The Blue Victory boat has the speed and passes Vipo into 3rd place on the start-finish straight. Great move from Eric Stark, now up in P3. Behind in the battle for 7th, Al-Khamzi pours on the power in the blinding conditions and comes around the left-hander, passing Marszalek into 7th. Marin is fast around the hairpin down to the right-hander. He zooms past Zandbergen and takes 4th place from the Dutchman. And it's game over for Zandbergen, who comes to a halt. Dreams of a World Championship podium dashed. Up ahead, Eric Stark is pushing to the max, giving everything he's got. He does it. He passes Trask into 2nd place. Comparato tries to get around Brent Dillard, coming past the yellow right-hander, and he clips the American's rear sponson. Comparato barrel rolls, flipping over twice. The yellow flag comes out. Alberto Comparato is okay. With just 3 laps to go now, Andersson leads, heading back to the shore in the blinding light. But now Thani Al-Khamzi attacks on the outside. The 2 boats zoom into the left-hander, and it's Al-Khamzi who beats the Frenchman to the buoy. Thani Al-Khamzi takes 3rd, Peter Marin down to 4th. Andersson brings home an incredible race win to top off his World Championship title. Eric Stark finishes in 2nd, and with that, he takes 2nd place in the World Drivers' Championship. Al-Khamzi's last-minute maneuver also propels Team Abu Dhabi to 2nd place in the Team Championship standings, ahead of China CTIC in 3rd and Sharjah Team in 4th.
I fight all the race, and I get 5, and then 4, and then 3. It was a very difficult race. Everyone fighting for his position.
It was been a really roller coaster this weekend. Like from now 2nd in the race, 2nd in the World Championship. So perfect end of this weekend and the season.
And so, in the overall Drivers' Championship standings, China CTIC's Peter Marin grabs the third spot, pipping Zandbergen to fourth by just 4 points. Al-Kamzi finishes in fifth, with Torrente back in seventh.
Just after the restart, I lose the third position in a bad choice. Really disappointed about it for the race, but we are third on position on the World Championship.
I had the worst start in all my career. I think I was thinking, now it's finished. It's finished for me. But had a good feeling, and the setup was perfect. So I had an easy ride this race.
Join us as the 2024 season returns to Lake Toba, Indonesia for round 1, which kicks off an action-packed season, including a new venue in Binh Dinh, Vietnam for round 2 of the UIM F1H2O World Championship.